How are you going?
I'm glad. Wish everybody did.
Yeah, no kidding, huh? Okay, it's an open meeting of the Parks and Recreation Committee in the City of O'Connell. Notice this meeting was given to the public at least 24 hours prior to the meeting and by forwarding the complete agenda to the O'Connell County Reporter as well as by posting. Copies of the complete agenda are available for inspection at the Office of the City Administrator. Number one is called the meeting to order. At 5:30. Okay. Number two, roll call please, Sue.
Sue Anderson.
Here.
Tony Hornet.
Here.
Diane Wood.
Here.
Kim Briesta.
Here.
Lisa Solo.
Here?
And we have Jeremy, Worcester, Superintendent of Public Works, and one citizen.
Dan's over here? How about us?
Citizen.
Council
I'm moving
person,
up.
whatever you want to be today. It's kind of a toss-up, I know. Okay, I'm looking for an approval of the agenda as written.
I will make a motion to approve.
Second by Kim, second by Diane. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion's carried. Okay, approval of the minutes from 2/4/26.
I will make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Public input. Do you have anything you want to talk about?
I'll cover everything under parks updates.
You're gonna-
Everybody else can kind of chime in with that if you have any.
Okay.
Like
so
Winter
forward to-
Wonderland, is that one of you want?
Yep.
How about, there's a grant, is it for here or for forestry you're gonna apply for? Aren't you?
For,
Just put words in your mouth, Jeremy.
We talked about a grant that had to be applied for by May 1st.
that might have been for the kiosks. The kiosks are due April at the end of this month, the kiosk grants, and then that would be the only grant that would be,
Okay.
Is that for the
Well,
harbor?
right.
Then for the kiosks for the harbor, is that what
yes, for the harbor.
No, we were talking, it was a different
Oh.
grant,
This is
'cause
something
we were
else.
discussing that forestry, but then the money issue. And I said, well, maybe go through the parks,
Might be the urban forestry grant, maybe.
maybe that's it, did you apply for it?
I'll look for that one. Well, those are, you can still apply for those.
Okay.
I gotta meet with the head of the DNR on that one, or the forestry, the new forestry gal.
Okay, so nothing on that, all right, so should we move right to correspondence with the parks updates, Jeremy?
I'll give you some updates, and then I'll just let everybody chime in on all the parks. Obviously, all the parks are extremely wet right now. I'll just start with City Park. We did get the majority of the stumps ground out of there. We're still working on them. A lot of that cleanup that's taken place, and black dirt put in. We haven't seeded anything yet, obviously. We did get the majority of that park, including the campground, all the leaves, the larger debris picked up out of there, but of course, again, with the amount of rain, we can't get back in there to do anything, and we're gonna stay on top of that. Same thing with basically every other park. We're kinda at a standstill with a lot of the work that's going on with those, even the stump grinding in those, just because of the amount of, the abundance of rain in all the parks. But, as soon as Mother Nature allows us, we're gonna be out there getting those taken care of. The one thing I wanted to bring up about City Park is Laurel from the Impression over the winter had contacted me about City Park. She said, "You ever think about changing the entrance of the City Park?" She said, "Do me a favor and just drive through the opposite way." And I have driven the opposite way through before, just because maintenance wise, but she says you really get a whole different appearance of that park driving the opposite way. Would you want to think about changing that signage down? Because right now I've got a new sign made for the park. It's down right now, so I'm kind of waiting to put that up there because I kind of wanted to talk to the committee and kind of get their viewpoint of it. But she is right to a point. When you drive through the south end and come around, and you come around there, you miss the whole mural that is on the old beach house that's down there. Mm-hmm. And you kind of lose track of that area that is right there. And when you drive in from the north side and you come in there, it is so open right there, and it gives you a whole new vision of what that park really looks like. So
And
I'm
it's
not
not
gonna-
gonna, idea, I mean, the whole focal thing, like they say, you know, your entryway in your house should always be your thing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I gotta get it.
Yeah, and I said, I'll take a look at it, but she does really make a valid point on there. So it's nothing that we have to decide on right now, cause I'm not putting that sign up right away, but it's nothing that we need approvals for. I mean, I'd like approval from you guys to do it. But take a ride, just take a ride out there and give me your opinion. Just go the opposite way. If someone yells at you, tell them that you got our approvals to do that.
I know you did.
Yeah, and
You have a
I
good
do.
idea.
Yeah, I know Laurel very well.
Yeah, and I think it does really give you a whole different concept of that park,
You
so.
don't see the backyards neither.
Yeah, and you don't see the backyards either. Yeah, when you come through that way, right? Yeah, I know exactly, or sometimes when you come through that way, all you're looking at is weeds on that north end over there, where when you come this way, you see that openness of the beach area, and then you come around and you're getting hit with the murals and the playground equipment and all that, so just try it, and then just kinda give me your opinion,
I like
just
that too.
on what you,
That's a good idea.
what you think about that,
If
so.
you wanna do it, I think all of us have taken the other route, just to see what it's like.
I've done it already, cause I'm on the wrong way.
I didn't do it as a long way, but
We don't really need approval, all I'm
Just
doing
want our
is
opinion?
I'm just changing it, all I'm doing is changing the entrance, so it's basically, it's just taking the, do not enter from the north end and putting it on the south end. And what we would do is we would just go out and, we would put a Facebook notice out there on our page saying that, here's the reasons we're doing it. And of course, I'll be talking to council next week, Tuesday, about it, just to kind of share it with them, to take their rides through there, just to see what their opinions are. I think it's a good idea. I mean, it's not like you're disrupting anything.
No.
It's just getting people trained now to go
The opposite
through the
direction.
north end. And
Yeah,
that might
kinda
be-
like running the stop signs down here for 5
yeah,
years.
I mean, there might be some confusion in the beginning, but,
Yeah.
I mean, if it's properly signed, then you get the word of mouth out there, people will get used to it.
We don't have it, nothing is ankle park there, right? I mean, you won't be coming the wrong way against an
No.
ankle or
No.
anything, which
No.
everything is straight shot, right?
No, the,
Even the one by the big park up by the road,
yep, the two,
that's all,
yeah, the
that
two,
doesn't have
yeah,
lines
yeah, the
or
two
anything.
parking lots that are on the beach end are just
Yeah,
straight
straight
in,
in.
so they're not, yeah.
Yeah,
they
so
can
that,
get-
cause
yeah.
otherwise you'll not be kind of in pain if you.
And that one
switch
spot next to the beach house kind of thing, that's straight parking
That's straight
there
parking
too.
too, yeah, that's both the same there.
Yeah.
I do gotta look in there, that we do have some water buildup on that entrance going in now. There's a lot of water buildup there, and I think there used to be I think a culvert under there at some point, there had to be. But obviously everything's covered in there right now and nothing's draining, so I gotta go out there at the backhoe and doing some investigating. I'm hoping there's an existing culvert, because if there's an existing culvert, then I can repair it without a permit. If it's not an existing culvert there, then I have to go through a DNR process, and those can get costly sometimes, and there's a 30-day approval and all that stuff, so if I can just do it on my own, I can get rid of that water on my own, without it just sitting right there.
you'd think now with all the flooding, it wouldn't take long to get permits for something like that.
Some things you would think would be easier said than done, but they're not always.
But yeah,
that
I
way.
think you should change the driveway, that would be nice.
Yeah.
You change it, so I can see your name on Facebook.
Oh, yeah, it's your time to get roasted, huh?
I don't
I'm all
mind.
done, I quit, so
I
it
don't
doesn't matter.
mind any.
You can say whatever they want about me now, I don't think.
Yeah, the other two, things that I
And
was,
that's for you, Casey, for your information.
working on before I take any of your questions is, I've been working on, splash pads and, dog parks, just getting info on that. So, here's just a map I just put together, and,
Yeah.
just for you to take a look at. I got this one here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So basically that land you're looking at right there, and these are just, again, this is all it is just preliminary and just looking at, just because there's enough people that are asking me to look into it. So that property is at the end of Van Hecky Ave, if you go past Yak Fab. That parking lot that you see there is the entrance going into the trail system along, along 41. And, that area that I got diagrammed out, it would be the property of Robert Bickle. And I met with him and his wife, last week. And they would be interested in selling that portion. Now, for what cost, I don't know. They're gonna talk about it and get back to me. The other option, obviously, if that price is really, really high and it's something that we just couldn't afford or couldn't fundraise for. Then another option would be, is if you take that green line to the north above there, that whole area in there is basically, what we call DOT right away in that section right there. And,
Is this where that turnaround thing is?
Correct.
Okay.
yeah, and
Isn't that public land that you can hunt and stuff back there?
no, you cannot. Not right there. This is adjacent to the highway right there. This is just this.
Okay,
right
okay.
there. Yep. So there is actually enough area to the north of that. If the DOT would grant us to put a dog park in there, we could definitely fence in that area without having to purchase any property if the DOT would just let us do that. Or across the street, directly from where I got that dog park, that is actually DOT land right there. And if they would just designate a small portion of there. The only reason I brought that area up is because typically you see dog parks in kind of non-residential areas, away from those, just because of the barking and all that. And that area has parking because we already have the existing parking lot out there for the walkers, and people do walk their dogs out there also. But then you wouldn't have to worry about anything parking related either. Again, it's just on pursuing it, just looking
No,
at
but
cost.
you're thinking on us as taxpayers paying for a dog park, that's what you're saying?
No.
I'm
Or
no,
you're saying
no,
fundraiser totally?
they would just, that would be something that council would have to decide on. They would have to
Oh,
decide if they want
that's a given
fundraising.
then, cause they're all dog park people apparently, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I am just pursuing at this point. I'm not asking for funding, I'm just saying, okay, I'm doing my job because I've been asked to pursue an area. I won't say I'm on for or against it because I don't own dogs, I don't own cats. Not that I'm not a
Doesn't
dog
matter.
lover, a cat
No,
lover, don't
it's-
matter, no.
It's
But,
just, but as a taxpayer, I'd be pretty damn mad if I'm paying taxes to pick up somebody else's dog poop. That would make me mad,
oh yeah, well, I mean,
very mad,
if
and
you,
you know we're gonna have to. I don't care how you look at it, it's gonna be a city guy's gotta pick up behind people who don't pick up behind their dogs.
and I wouldn't argue that point. I wouldn't argue that point. Again, I'm just doing my due
Okay, you're
diligence.
just
I'm
bringing
just,
it up. I get
yeah,
it.
I'm just doing my due diligence because people are asking me about it. So I'm just pursuing it, say that I did look into it. Here's some options that you would have, and it would be the only options because there is no other property within the city limits, well, outside of residential that is really available. Because the other properties you'd be looking at properties that are more valuable for a business to go into or an industrial business to go into that is actually adding tax dollar. This is the only reason I thought of that, because it's off the end there. On that back side of the DOT portion of it, it's all wetland except for this little bit right here. And it won't affect anything, nobody's gonna purchase that piece right there,
Did
so.
you used to dump something back there? Not concrete?
That would be on the other side.
Yeah.
Opposite side?
I'd be on the opposite,
Would-
I'd be on the north side, which would be Sand Hill Court, which there was 20 acres out there, but they sold that 20 acres, and the developer now has since then split it into 3 lots and now has those 3 lots up for.
Yeah, that was a whole
for
nother
sale.
story, yeah.
Yep.
This is a good idea. We've done this before, looked into dog parks and all that. And it's nice to always have a plan first to present, which you are doing here. But as for that, I would say totally self-funded, nothing from the city, because I watch the repairs that the city does on your ancient equipment. City cannot afford to fund a dog park. It'll just be bad enough if it fenced in and you emptying garbage out there.
Yeah, and I would agree, it would have to be totally funded if between the people at the Humane Society or a lot of the dog people that are really pushing for it, that would be something that we would say, okay, here's some options that we gave you, here's the cost associated with it, what can you do to go and get funding for it?
I mean, the school referendum just went down too, so
Yeah.
dog park would not go
Yeah.
over.
Oh,
So, and then the second thing, is a splash pad. Obviously, I've been looking into splash pads and investigating splash pads. So, just to give you some options, and obviously this is just, all I did is just educating everybody. There's 2 types of splash pads. There's what they call a flow-through splash pads. Flow-through means that they don't have a lifeguard on staff. And the water is directly handled through a computer system. So I'd be going out there and I'd be putting each one of the sprinklers or the heads, whether they're attached to a toy, whether they just come out of a pipe. When they get activated, they're activated through that computer system where they might stay on for 5 minutes, they might stay on for 10 minutes, whatever you set that mode to. And then when that water drains down the sewer, it goes obviously directly to the sewer, it doesn't get recirculated at all. So there's a lot less maintenance on that because there's no restrictions from the state to do any type of chlorine residuals or anything like that, because like you're using city water already and they already have the chlorine residuals and everything in there that are standard. Versus recirculating splash pad means that you're collecting that water and you're running it back through a collection system and then you bring it right back into that pool, which now you have to do all those chlorine checks every day. And you have to have someone on staff to do that, which means that's a lot more expensive. So the number of park and rec directors that I talked to, a couple of them that are close friends of mine, they said definitely flow through. If you're gonna even think about one, especially for a community our size, you're gonna wanna go with a flow through because it's less maintenance. It's the labor, there's no labor to it except for when you're making your trips through with your daily parks to check on your garbages, you're just running through the splash pad quick, which are obviously our buildings out there already, to check on garbage or check to see if there's anything laying in the middle of the concrete pad. Yep, kind of just runs itself and everything's motion activated.
And that was my question for you is when you talked about, setting it somehow with the computer with how long and all that, because like I know the one in Seymour, unless a kid comes up there and steps on the little thing, it doesn't go off all day.
Correct.
If somebody can walk up there and do that.
Yeah, and that's like, you have it set.
We don't want to waste water either.
Yep, you don't want to waste water either, so again, it's self-activated, but that's, if we ever get to that point where people really want a splash pad, I haven't got any cost yet, I'm just in the initial stages of just investigating the different types and sizes and things like that, and then my next step is to go ahead and just look at some pricing on, give a few designs and say, okay, this is about approximately what the cost would be if you were to go through and commit to one.
So it's not just pricing, it's the upkeep of it. There
It-
may be less maintenance, but with, how we complain about our water bills in this city.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you'd still have the cost, you'd have the cost of the water, and you'd have the cost of, the maintenance would just be if anything breaks down. As far as adding any labor cost, it's not a whole lot. I mean, basically, if you're just resetting the computer, that's something that myself or Gavin would go and operate, besides just checking another couple garbage cans, and you're already right at that site anyways, because, if you're gonna build a splash pad, obviously the obvious site would be Holwood. Kind of where that existing pool already was. So that's what I would recommend if we ever get to that point. But again, this is just preliminary. What I'll do is I'll get some costs put together with some just examples, and then I'll bring those forward at another meeting, whether it's next meeting or the following meeting for that.
So would this be like, I don't know, way down the road, but is this free to residents or is it a buck to get in or?
No, most splash pads are free because they're just motion activated. They're not fenced in or anything. Not saying that you couldn't fence it in and open it up and saying it's only open from this time frame, but then you're adding more labor, obviously, to that too. But most splash pads, if they're not a recirculating one, they're typically just right out in the open. Like I'll use Marshville has one for example, and they're right in the middle of their downtown, and they actually have a stage incorporated. That's a little bit larger area, but they have stages and bands and stuff in that same area. And then that splash pad is kind of the focal point. It's wide open, and you can use it at any point. Where kids
So
would just
what
come
was
in and just
our
motion activate.
problem before? I mean, we've talked about splash pads since Christ was born. And I don't know, I mean, it was always something that we just could not afford to do. Is this something that we never pursued it on the side you're talking? Do you know?
I don't know because I wasn't.
Where that would be coming from,
I don't know because I wasn't in charge of that before, so I'm just getting the information
Because
right now.
we talked about this forever.
Yeah.
They were
And it was
more
never
elaborate,
something we
though.
could do.
It
Huh?
wasn't as simplified as this, it was more elaborate.
I think when people look at splash pads, they're thinking elaborate. They're
Yeah.
thinking of a recirculating splash pad that has to have chlorine residuals done every day. You have to have somebody on duty versus a flow through where you don't need anybody on duty because you're using chlorinated water going directly down the drain. It's not getting recirculated. You know, again, the downfall of that is again, you're not recirculating water, so you're using more water. But on the other hand, when you look at the labor intensity of it, it's a lot cheaper for it, and you won't have to worry about any labor. So again, I'm just kind of doing my due diligence, so if somebody telling me to look into it, and those would be, the options would be a flow through or recirculating, which obviously the flow through is a lot cheaper, a little bit smaller. You know, and again, you know, they're typically a splash pad is designated for children like 2 to 10 years old. You know, most any child over that age now is looking to get on a beach or a boat or a jet ski or whatever it may be. But they're not cheap either. So again, if that's something else, it's no different than a dog park. When you pursue it, that's something that you're probably not going to get funding from council for. That would have to be done with, I'm assuming by a fundraising event or a referendum, whatever. But again, I'm just kind of doing my due diligence because I've been getting a lot of questions to look into it. So that's the information I have on it.
Are there any grants that can be written for that? Is there like some kind of?
Well, there is. I
don't
mean,
know.
there's recreational grants. There's all types of recreational grants. Some have different standards. Some are have to meet certain criteria. Some are those aren't part of their grant for format. Some are. You know, the county's got recreational grants now, but that could be coming to a halt too. That could be coming if they use all their funds out of that. You won't see any of those grants. So
You still gotta have a plan.
still gonna have a
Right.
plan,
And
you
then
still
you're
gotta
like
get
the
into it.
50-50.
Yeah. then-
Yeah.
And you still
Yeah,
gotta
that's
do
the biggest
fundraising.
concern is, you know.
Look what we went
Yeah.
into
we
it.
went
Yeah.
through this, yeah.
The biggest thing is you have to have costs associated with that before you start just getting too far ahead of
People
yourself. So
think
you
you're
know if
grand,
it's,
yeah.
so you know if it's a manageable number or not a manageable number. Because if it's not a manageable number, then you're wasting a lot of work on my time to go through all that stuff when I have a lot of stuff on my plate already.
I was just wondering because if there was an area that we could research to see if there's grants out there for that, then I would look into all of that, see what the criteria was and stuff like that. So that's why I was just wondering
I mean, you
if there's
can-
grants available.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanna go ahead and go ahead and look for those, you can definitely go ahead and do that. Again, anything that would happen as far as splash pads concerns would have to, obviously, would have to get sent to council anyways.
Right,
for
right.
their- For their approval.
Cause you're still gonna have to maintain it,
Still
no
gonna
matter
have
how
to
you look
maintain
at
it.
it.
No matter how you look
Some
at it, you're
kind of
gonna have to
money.
make some type of money, correct. Yep.
I was just thinking along that way, because then if we could go to council and say, and I researched this, and these criteria fit this, and they would give us this amount, you know, just so we kinda have something to go to council with instead of,
Right.
you know, cause I
Well-
hate that when things get tabled to a next meeting and then to a next meeting and then to a next meeting kind of thing. I like to do all the research, come with the plan and present, you know?
Well,
So that's why I
maybe
was
this
just
would be a good
wondering.
time to bring this up then. I don't know how many of you know Jamie Johnson.
Yep.
You know Jamie
Working
across the
with that.
street here, Road Grants, that was her job. She's no longer employed, obviously, and she hasn't been there for way before the episodes happened. But I'm just wondering, if Jamie wouldn't be somebody that we could get for a minimal fee or something and do some grants for us. I don't know, just a thought for somebody to throw around.
Or would she be
She's good.
interested in being on
Park and Rec.
the Park and Rec Committee? Because we
I don't know,
currently
she
have
might
two
be a little
council
gun shy of
members.
everything like the rest of us, but
Oh.
we could ask, I mean, somebody could ask, I wouldn't, but
Okay.
somebody could, yeah. She's, I mean, she's a really good person and she maybe would be a good source for that.
Yeah,
And since she's not employed right now, you know, it might be something that she'd be interested in. So
Yeah.
I just throwing her name out there, I never talked to her or anything else,
okay.
just throwing it out there
You
for
know
people
her?
to think about.
I know Jamie, she's good.
Yeah,
shape.
Jamie's a good
I like
kid, yeah.
Jamie, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, anyway, okay, what else you got?
Just wanna mention everybody too, out at City Park, April 29th is our, Arbor Day event, that we do with the 6th grade classes at the middle school. If anybody's interested, I do not have the agenda in front of me, but basically we're starting around 8:30 where we present plaques to, we reserve plaques to, we award the plaques to the top 3 poster winners. And then we talk a little about Arbor Day itself, and then we get into the tree planting. So the tree planting is gonna be taking place at City Park this year. We're planning about 20 trees out there, 21 trees out there. The majority of them are gonna be done, with the 6th grade class I would probably, hopefully we get about 12 plantings in with them. I'm
Sounds like
hoping as
7.
many, yeah, and then the rest of them are gonna be done with my Public Works and Parks crews, but, the trees that we're gonna be planting out there, are gonna be a blue beech. There'll be 7 of those, and then the other 2 that are gonna be planted out there, are gonna be, a hackberry and a swamp white oak. And I do got a few maples that are going out there too, just cause I got extras ordered that we're doing in some terrace areas and stuff there, on some of the higher ground. But for most part, them are the 3 that are going out there. So if anybody's interested in that event, or if there's people that are asking, hey, we cut down a lot of trees out there, you know, what are we doing to, as far as replantings, that's what our plan is this year through the forestry committee. So,
Do we have to buy those?
we do,
Okay.
yep, and that comes out of the forestry with our funds there. We're roughly spending about, we've got about, you know, with our carryovers, we got about just over $8,000 somewhere there. We're gonna be spending about 5,000 on trees this year. So we don't like to use all those funds, we like to save those a little bit in case we have some emergency trees we like to plant in possibly in the fall, but we also, you know, we're always looking for some grants out there because we do need a tree study done, you know, through the forestry. The last tree study was the last one was done that a grant I wrote almost 15 years ago, that they actually hire a forestry company that comes in and does a full inventory of your entire park system, your terrace system, tells you basically, you know, what your tree population is, you know, what percentage each species is, and where you're falling behind, you know, as far as your pruning practices go, your maintenance practices, all that stuff. And it's really, really good report. It helped us a lot when we got that report to go through those terrace areas, go through those parks areas, and just be better when it comes tree related. So outside of that, if anybody's got questions on any of the parks, fire away at me.
How did Winter Wonderland go?
Winter Wonderland went really well. They got one sign that's left out there. Are you here for another meeting?
For the hospital?
Hospital, if you go down in the hallway, if you go all the way down to your left,
Okay.
I think that looks like they might have moved to the council, to the smaller council room. Or not council room, but that little meeting room anyways. Where was I? I just lost my train of thought.
Winter Wonderland.
Winter Wonderland, thank you. I did talk to Annie and just compliment her. They did a superb job up there. You know, a lot of it is weather dependent. So until the frost comes out, there's gonna be things that are stuck in the ground that you just can't get out. So the only thing that's left out there is the big Winter Wonderland sign, because the stakes are still frozen in. She's gonna be getting that out. But as far as the trailer and everything, she's got all that moved out. I met with her, talked about positives and negatives, and she's super excited about doing it again next year. Route.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, route staying the same. She's already got funding for a new trailer. The trailer that they're currently using right now for all the inventory is in rough shape, so they got funding for a new trailer, and she's got some new funding sources for some bigger and brighter things moving into next year. So it's been really good. She's been really great to work with. Anytime I've called her up and said, hey, just want to let you know you missed a couple lights in this tree, boom, she's right over there, and she takes care of it. So
That's
yeah,
refreshing.
so no negatives at all. I thought she did an awesome job, and
Really
for
nice
anybody
job.
to take that over, it's
Especially on short notice.
on short notice too.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, she had explained to me that her mom was one of the original people.
that's
And,
good.
you know, I'm a transplant, so she was telling me
Yeah, she's
about
a cool lady.
how the fire truck would come through and Santa'd be on it. And she's
Yeah.
like, my goal is for people to see that trailer that painted a mural about Winter Wonderland and stuff, that when people see that trailer coming through, driving around, that they know we are setting up for this, and to get people excited about it. So she has some other things that she's got plans for, and I think especially with that short notice, she really did
Yeah.
a
She did
great
a
job.
Yeah,
So,
probably needed new blood anyway.
Yeah.
You know, just one of those things.
yep, it was good, so
Yeah.
I complimented her on that, and, she'll be coming back next year, so that's a good thing.
I have one question to ask you, how you and I had gone over on I went with Jeremy over to see the new office.
Yep.
The new office that he remodeled over there and stuff. And, did you give any more thought about what you wanted to do with that little side part where where the golf is now?
Oh, yeah.
Or you
So-
talked about this kind of just in general, and I thought maybe it'd be a good time to bring it up.
Yeah, absolutely. So Sue and I went over to the campground, it was a couple months back, and just kind of was showing her the updates to the campground office and, through there, and then just kind of looking in the back and looking at that dingy golf course that's back there. It's, that golf course is over 25 years old, and, we probably spend about $300 to $500 a year just on repairing what we can in that golf course. And last year generated $168. It doesn't generate a whole lot of money. Ever since obviously the rooms came into town, the golf course over there, that's taken away a lot of revenue out of there. And so it's pretty much, that golf course is pretty much done. People that really wanna golf, they're gonna go across, and that's okay. You wanna support local businesses, but I wanna kind of plan ahead of some of the things that I'd like to see in there, and Sue and I kind of had an agreement in there, is that at the end of the fall, I would take everything out of there, and again, most of it's pretty much junk now. And then in that fenced-in area, we would put it more or less into like an entertainment area for the campers. So what I would do is I would put 2 large gathering fire pits in there, where you can put large groups in there to gather if they've got multiple sites that want to come together. We would put a horseshoe pit in there, we would put 2 lanes of bag boards in there, and then we'd have a corner designated as kind of like a stage for some like entertainment. So if we wanted to have, John used to have them, I didn't have them last year just because of short notice of just trying to get everything back up and running again. You could have like a 2-man band or a local band out there on a Saturday afternoon during a busy weekend that would drive customers over there. And then not night, it'd be like, a 1 to 4, 1 to 3, or a noon to 4, something in the middle of the day that not only just the campers can enjoy. If somebody wanted to just come up there and watch those bands, they could do that. And even possibly moving the movie screen over there, or putting another movie screen over and running a movie in the campground once a month or once every couple weeks in there. And I think that is a better idea for that site that would get used and kind of enhance it a little bit. Right now it's so grungy back there, and that's kind of my next project over there, to get that back area cleaned up. There's just, over the years, they've accumulated a lot of stuff over there, and
Didn't they
no
do that in
blame
the
to anybody,
pavilion?
but, what's that?
That pavilion they put up, didn't they do music in there sometimes?
The problem is it's such a small area. I mean, that pavilion is no bigger than this area right here.
Yeah,
So if you put the band under there, you'd be lucky to get 2 people under there
Yeah.
to sit under there. It's, you're off to the side right there. I mean, it's a beautiful pavilion, don't get me wrong, but I think that pavilion would serve as a good meeting place, and you could even watch
Yeah.
that
It
entertainment
would be
from that
good.
pavilion into that golf course area.
Provided somebody doesn't call them in and they get shut down.
Well,
They
still
used to
have
a
a
couple
quiet
times.
time, I still have quiet.
Well, again, you'd have, but again, that area is gonna be on a quiet time too, it'll be, open from, we'll say from whatever, 9 AM until 9 PM,
This
or
was-
whatever it may PM.
This was on Sunday afternoons they got shut down.
Yeah, well, that's just a noise ordinance.
That's because people have to complain about something,
I
if
know,
they
but
don't
I'm
have
just
something to
saying,
complain
I
about, what are
hope
they
they
gonna do all day?
don't, because it's good
Yeah.
music.
Yeah,
That's just
right.
it.
And you're not talking like if there's gonna be music out there on a daily basis or
No.
every week. It's, if you have 3 events out there, a summer, you'd be lucky,
Yeah.
It'd be nice.
And unless the seasonals wanna fundraise and they wanna hire somebody with the approval from me, they could definitely do that. But again, it would be during those afternoon hours, and, it's not like you're talking, Copperfest style,
It would
Yeah.
just be really cute up there, I thought, too.
Yeah.
Oh,
And, I was looking at all the different kinds of, like, I said, I don't know about there used to be a VICA. Is there still a VICA at high school?
Well, there's not Vic anymore. Well, there is.
Is it
Vic is
called
ran
something else?
through, Sean Porath, and,
I kind of.
Sean would definitely be, he would do that as far as an option and would probably donate it. He's worked really well with us, you know, especially with
the wood.
especially with the wood. I mean,
Mhm.
you know, for what Franks and everybody else wanted to give us for the lumber, you know, he's giving us, you know, he's filling up the complete, probably giving us another $3,000-4,000 worth of firewood for the campground, free of charge, and obviously we turn around and sell that. And then, of course, he's making us, he's actually sawing us a bunch of lumber, that we can use just for projects within the park system and the public works system. So
Right.
he's been great to work with, and, you know, he's the one who built the woodshed, and that would be right up Sean's alley. He's a
Well,
great
and
promoter
like I
of all
said, I
that
know
stuff.
Dick, they used to have masonry, cause one of my kids was had to go to, Justin, I think, went to some Madison or some darn thing for that. And I thought it'd be kinda cool if they could make some kind of a cool fire pit thing that maybe had a way to cook on the top level, that's why we had somebody on my phone. But even if they had like a fire pit thing here, and then maybe it had a grate on the top or something, so if you were gonna have family or something down, you could throw some hamburgers on there and, you know. And then I was telling Jeremy that somewhere here upstairs, I think it is, that there's that receiver
Yeah, there
and
is, yeah.
speakers
Yep.
that we used to have at the pool. Pipe some music up there, maybe put a timer on it or something, or have
Oh, yeah.
siesta, you know, have a fiesta or something and
Or
play,
something that they
play
could.
Macarena kind of thing, or, you know,
Yeah.
it could be something kind of, I don't know, something kind of catchy, would be cute.
Yeah,
And then I said to him too, those, you know, like you just make those boards, you know, with the cement block, and you just put the boards through the holes and
Oh, yeah,
branches or
yeah.
whatever with, and then in the winter, you could just pull the boards out.
Oh, yeah.
Stick them in like
Pretty cool.
someplace a little dry or whatever, leave the concrete thing sitting right where they are, and then maybe put some of those lights around it or something. So you have little lights and you have a little fire and you could do a little cooking and you could have benches. And it wouldn't be, I don't think, expensive to do.
No, you could even offer memorial benches out there too.
True.
You know, you could put a soap style bench
Oh, that's
out
a good
there
idea.
for people that used to camp in the campground, that,
Uh-huh.
you know, whether they
Yeah,
were
like the people
seasonals
that
or
manage
monthlies
that
that
passed
came in
away.
or not, they
Mhm.
might wanna have a memorial bench out there for their loved one, and then,
So I think it could be
oh,
cute.
that would be, yeah.
And
That's a
so
good
then we had a lot of
idea.
ideas for it, so, you know, as a committee, if you guys come up with ideas, certainly give them to Jeremy on it, so.
yeah. Yeah, we're
Let's
definitely
get
gonna
some
run
ideas.
we're definitely gonna run the golf course this year. You know, we're gonna try not to put too much money into it, especially it doesn't generate a whole lot, and it doesn't get a whole lot of use now, especially because of the rooms being right across the river, and which obviously is just 60 times better than what we
Well, I
have.
suppose
Not
if
picking
you
on
had-
what we have, it was great in the day,
Yeah.
you know, but.
Yeah, I
you know,
suppose if
it's
you
just-
had little kids
it's
though,
been
and you don't
neglected.
wanna run them over there, you
Oh,
can say,
absolutely.
here you go, here's $2 or whatever, go play
Yeah.
mini golf over here, we can see it from the campsite. Yeah, that kind
Yeah,
of,
right.
probably, I don't know what it was ever used for, I personally have never done it.
Yeah,
But
But
I don't do golf things, so.
yeah, but I do plan on, that's one of the projects this.
But there's some ideas.
This year, that we got some cleanup work to do around there, that, I mean, they kind of let some of that stuff just pile up and kind of a collection of junk back to us, so we'd like to get that cleaned up and make it a little bit more presentable for the campers that are coming in there, so.
Well, I think doing that in that area and stuff is a great idea.
Yeah.
It's already fenced in.
Yeah,
So it's not like, you know, I expected you to jump the fence, just like we used to jump the fence to go in the pool. You know, I mean,
You
you
would
never did
never
that,
do
I'll bet you jumped.
I never
No.
jumped the fence.
No, me either, but anywho, so that was one of the things that I wanted to bring up and share with you guys, Joe. So, on the same note, I guess now's a good time for me to say that, I got the notice for the movie licensing, and it is damn near $800. So there's gonna be no more movies. I am not doing it anymore. $775 license this year.
That is ridiculous.
For the whole 10 people, 5 people that come.
And didn't you
And every
pay that
weekend.
yourself last
We did, and then
year?
last year we got some help from the city, some money that was in there from, I don't know if it was from
Some
something.
donations
Yeah,
for, yeah.
so, you know, I mean, so, and I'm not paying it anymore myself, I'm not doing
That's,
it. And,
that is
those
outrageous.
were all things that we did for the city that obviously we're not. So, that's one of the things, we will not be doing it anymore. So I will be looking at, getting all the stuff out of there and everything that we put in it, you know, I've been collecting junk for many years.
That's good stuff.
And, I'll get it all and I'll, you know, we'll find new homes for it or we'll sell it or whatever and it'll just be what it is. And, you know, we'll just go from there and then I'll try to, you know, there's a nice piece of concrete there, so, I don't know, something better could go there, I don't know, but I won't.
What are you
Well-
doing with the, like, the shack building kind of
Well,
thing?
that's another thing, Daryl and I were trying to remember even what we paid for the dumping, but it doesn't matter. You know, but, and I think it cost us like $300-400 or something like for the Amish guy to move it. But, I could probably find something to do with that even, you know, I could sell it probably if I really wanted to, but you don't have any use for it, you don't need another damn building, I know
I
that,
do
because
not
you
need
can't get rid of
another
the buildings that are over there now.
I
So
was
I will
just-
make sure I get rid of everything that's there, and it's all cleaned up, benches aren't my problem, but
No,
maybe the
but if you,
benches
but
could
if
go
you need,
somewhere else.
if you need help, let me know. Yeah, the benches we'll use within our park system, I can
Yeah.
use somewhere at City Park or.
Yeah. And
and
if you do
then-
wanna put the movie screen, you can move it over to, you know, over there, or whatever you just wanna do with it.
Yeah,
And the same with that sign, I don't know, would that sign be something that you could use for the tournaments, or should I get rid of that? Because I'm sure I could probably sell it for a couple bucks, but,
yeah, let me look into it.
I don't know if that's something you would want, but, you know, maybe tournament time or something, it might be kinda cool, I don't know. But then it's just kind of a pain to have to put it somewhere and all that, so,
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't pay that much for it, I don't think, I got it from Laternals for a couple $100, if I remember right, so it's not worth a lot. But we have all the letters that you gave me, the letters that I bought for it,
yeah.
and, you know, somebody that wants one of those maybe would be interested in it, but yeah, I'll, you know.
Yeah, let me look at.
There's a
let me-
lot of the stuff that's in it that we could just use in our shed or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, let me look into it, and it's a shame with those movie licenses, and
Yeah.
I know they used to be $300,
Yeah.
and now they're,
But
and they're
yeah, they were
almost
$500,
$800.
then they were $6, now they're almost $8.
You would think they would have like a temporary use license where, you know, you got a minimum of, you're only watching
So movies?
4 movies or 5
Yeah.
movies throughout the summer, that it costs you $100, but $800, I mean, that's,
And it also was an issue because it was, like before, when I was first starting to get them, they were $500 a movie. Each one was over 500. So we could only afford to have a couple.
Yeah.
Well, then my sister and I were doing some research one weekend and stuff, and then we came up with this MLP, I think that's what it's called. And they had a thing where you could get it, you know, for less, and you have, you know, certain movies you couldn't get, like the movies that were still in the theater, you know, stuff like that, of course, but we can. But nobody comes, everybody's got a telephone stuck in their kid's face instead of a movie outside, and it's sad, but it's true.
yeah.
And,
So
people should be
why do
ashamed of
you have
themselves.
to have a movie license? Like, what?
Because it's a copyright thing for the movie
Okay.
stars.
Registered
Okay.
trademark.
So it's because of the movies that you're buying?
Right, it's just like when
Got it.
you go get a CD, you're not supposed to copy those
Right.
CDs or movies or videos or any of that stuff because they belong to the people who
Okay.
did them. So, yeah, and, and we wanted to try to use the libraries, and then the library said, no, you can't do that. The city, you know, they are part of the city too, but they said the license is per address.
Oh,
So that license is for the Farnsworth Library at such and such an address. And, that's why we had to use the Holtwood address for it, so that we have an address associated with it. It couldn't be me, it had to be an address. So it's really dumb.
Is there a way to get a projector and?
We have a nice projector.
So can you show a movie
No.
without having, oh, okay.
Nowhere,
You-
not even in your backyard.
you can, yeah, kind of in the backyard, if you get caught,
Yeah.
then they're gonna find
Oh,
you.
Yeah,
need
and you
is
know,
a
people are
neighbor.
watching me all the time,
Oh,
somebody
yeah.
would say something about that.
All you
I think
need
they
is
say.
one person, obviously, and
So,
unfortunately,
yeah.
for something that is so minute,
Well-
there's, all it takes is one person to run it.
Yeah, and there's an idiot in every
Yeah.
corner,
You
so.
know, everything is projected. We have to have a license to
long
put the
have you
music
been
at
doing
church on
Oh,
screen.
10
Years.
years maybe?
Seriously?
Long time, yes,
Wow,
long time.
that's a
And there's just
long
different
time.
ones,
And I
so
give
if
up
you have
every
a
Friday
book,
and Saturday to
you better
do
make
this.
sure that
On my
song
own
is
time
in
and my
there.
sister-in-law's time, and we've donated all of this stuff all of these years happily, but I'm afraid, as you can tell, we've lost our zest for the city, so it's no longer an issue for me, and it's not it's just cost prohibitive for us, so.
Well, and the reason I
Not
was
doing
asking,
anymore.
the reason I was asking about the building was just because of Craig and Michael,
Mhm.
you know, as the project kind of thing that Taylor may be interested in it for the girls. That's what I was
Yeah,
talking
'cause I
about.
mean, they did build the first movie, and they built the benches, the first movie thing they
Yeah.
did, but not the one that's there now,
Oh,
but
okay.
the old one.
Correct. There
Yeah,
was an old
that's
one.
all we
Okay.
did, we
Okay.
redid all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
ourselves, yeah. But that's beside the point, as long as it could be used someplace.
Yeah.
But all the stuff that's in it is stuff that I pretty much bought myself, so we'll find homes for it, I'm not worried about it, but,
Start it up in your backyard.
yeah, well, no, I asked him that, can't do that.
No, I meant the other stuff that
Yeah.
you could use
Yeah.
in
Oh,
your
yeah.
yard.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
ridiculous,
yeah, we
that,
got places to use stuff, so I
That's-
don't wanna belabor it, but I just want everybody to know they're not doing it anymore.
that's
And,
ridiculous.
people would rather sit home with their kids in the corner than you do that. I feel bad, cause there's a couple little families that always came, little farmers, and they'd say, we love this because we can come here and we can afford this, and we can come after chores.
Yeah.
But it's no longer, I'm not doing city stuff anymore.
Well, and the price is outrageous, and nobody could expect you to pay
50
that
cents
stuff.
for a popcorn, $1 for, everything was cost.
Yeah.
And then make 1 dime over there, not
Yeah.
1 dime. Or for all the time we worked at this pool, all the concessions and stuff we did there, that money all went back into the stuff for the pool, bought chairs and umbrellas and all that crap. We didn't make money ever
Right.
doing this, I'm sure people thought we did, but of course we didn't.
No,
But it's over, so, anyway, I just wanted you to know that, so if you do have some plans and you think you could put movies someplace else or whatever, well, then take the screen and figure it out and whatever, but I'll get rid of the other stuff.
yeah, we can keep the screen on the, or the cover on that screen,
Yeah.
just so it stays protected, and maybe if that's something in the future, we can move down to the campground, and the campground, if
Mhm.
we wanna
Just cut,
purchase
take out the boards and put
purchase
it
a
over there.
license for that to run movies, they could definitely do that, it won't take much to move
No.
that. Like I said, the benches, I mean, the benches, we could use those everywhere.
They're not very good shape. Diane and I worked on them this year. You know, we sanded them and we
Really sealed
redid
it.
them and whatever,
Put a
but
good seal
they're
on
a little shabby.
Yeah. I'll take a look at them.
The Schmidt said they would rebuild them all, I heard.
I was gonna say, I'm sure that I could talk Sue into
Yeah.
doing something.
So anyway, that's that
two of
story.
us could do
I didn't mean to
together.
get so long on it, but that's the story
Oh, that's
there.
all right.
Okay?
Well, Sue, I am really sorry that is not going to be used anymore.
Yeah,
I know you were very passionate about
Yeah, I
that.
was, and it's sad, but it's like sooner or later we had to say, that's enough is enough, so.
I get that.
If people, like I say, I've lost a lot of love for humanity and the fact that we don't have kids that wanna come and sit and watch a movie anymore. Or parents that wanna bring them, I shouldn't say it that way. Okay, so what else we got? Anything else on parks?
Anybody else got anything for me? Otherwise, if you got anything, everyone has my email, my number, just give me a holler. And again, make sure you just take a ride out by City Park and give me your opinion. Not in the dark, during the day.
And are we keeping meetings on Wednesdays?
No, we always have meetings on Wednesdays. Yeah, we'll keep them on Wednesdays.
Cause I don't know where I got that from. Somebody had said to me that they were getting
We-
switched to Monday.
No, we had just had that one on that Monday because
Oh, okay.
I just had a conflict that month.
Okay,
And so I asked for it to be moved on Monday, but Wednesdays, we can keep on Wednesdays, unless you want Mondays.
no,
but
I'm
no,
just, I
Wednesdays-
wanna make sure I have the right date.
You know,
So-
Wednesdays are good because I typically, I can run my harbor meetings right before it, so I can run those back to back and it helps me out that way too. So,
Okay,
Okay.
no, we'll just keep them on Wednesdays
got it.
at 5:30.
It's gonna look when I wanna change it.
So I'll just go to my calendar here. May 13th for the next one, but I got way ahead of myself here. We still gotta do approvals on 7 and 8 yet, but
5:30.
yeah. So, sorry about that, so I got ahead of myself here. I'll let you get through the items 7 and 8.
You said May 13th, right?
Yeah.
Number 7, approval of accounts payable from January 30th, 26th to April 7th, 26th, in the amount of parks, $17,669.77. Homewood Campground, $16,377.35.
I'll make a
So-
motion to approve what Sue
Motion by
said.
Diane,
I'll second.
second by Kim. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Number 8, revenue and expenditure guideline from 2026 and revenue and expenditure histories, which of course is just our backup info here. Anybody have
Yep, just to
anything?
kind of show where out the year,
Yeah.
nothing
So we
out
have
of
any
ordinary.
questions
We're
on it?
just starting, so.
No questions? Okay. All right, now we can do the next meeting date. And we said it's gonna be.
May 13th at 5:30. That
We're
works for
gonna be
everyone.
busy.
What?
Park and Rec's on that day at 8 too. Or, forestry, excuse me. at
Oh,
8.
yeah, that does.
You'll have 3 of them.
That doesn't.
I don't know what to do with your time.
I don't, yeah.
I saw it coming.
Cause I'm sure you have a lot of spare.
Pretty soon ball games will start and we won't even know where he is.
I am actually not coaching this year. I got enough on my plate, so.
Okay, so we have the next meeting, okay, now, in the follow-up area, I have things to say, just as a place to put it, okay. Obviously, as I said, no longer willing to put any more effort into the city for any reason. Unfortunately, you know, all the events that have come and all the bashing and all of the bull crap that my husband and I have gone through over all this is not worth my time anymore. All the years that we've been doing this, and it always just kind of shit down the toilet. So that's okay. It's time for us to just forget it anyways. But anyway, it's for obvious reasons. I can't work with Casey. I refuse to work with him. So my option is to get out of Dodge. I'm not putting up with you. I'm not putting up with your chick. I'm not putting up with the Facebook. I'm not putting up with any of it anymore. And it's just not worth it. It's just all the smearing and all the fights and all the bad talk and all the crap that went on with it. It tells me that this is not the city that we want to be involved in anymore. And if I could talk my husband into selling my house, I would be long gone. But unfortunately, I'm sitting in a pretty nice place. So anyway, with that being said, I want to thank those of you who did work with me all this while, because it was fun while it lasted. And I don't see good positive changes coming to the city. And so I don't have the yearn or the want to do it anymore. And so I hereby am resigning. So today is my last meeting. And I wish you all good luck. And I hope that all of the plans that you have can come, you know, that we can actually get those things. That would be really nice. I have this book that I have had that has the comprehensive plan in it. I don't know if everybody here has one. I'm sure Violet probably does not. But anyways, it's something that we were always told to keep, and we were gonna try to plan and go through all these little tabs and stuff, but if nobody needs it, fine,
I
then
have
we'll
no idea
recycle
what it
it.
even is.
Otherwise, it's got nothing to do with me anymore.
Yeah, if someone wants to take it, I obviously have a copy of it,
Yeah.
but someone wants it.
The
wants to
city
take
has
it.
that, and we had to update it when we put the building in, or not. didn't
We had to
update it.
refer to it for things, yeah. So if anybody wants to find, otherwise I sure don't want it, because I have nothing to do with any of it.
So I don't know if there's a newer one, cause we had a,
They're not,
Changing
but
dates.
there's gonna be the comprehensive plan has to obviously be updated, that goes through, plan commission, so there's actually gonna be a new one coming up. And
Well,
it'll
there's
be,
something.
it'll be
about-
referenced to all
if
the
we had
departments.
to do
I
that when we
appreciate
put the
it.
building
Yeah,
up at
it's-
home,
It's better than nothing.
another cost.
But it's
Okay,
something-
so, anybody have anything else?
With two people on the council on this board, I know one
Is
has to,
The mayor will tell. do
the
that.
mayor decides that?
The mayor
Okay.
decides that.
Got it.
Yeah,
Thank
now,
you.
that he'll come up with his appointments.
And it could be neither of them, it could be somebody totally new.
His appointments will
Yes.
come out, I'm not sure if they'll be here on Tuesday, next week Tuesday's meeting, or if it'll be the following meeting. I can't tell you that for sure.
We have a
Um,
tourism meeting
I
next
can't,
week
yeah,
too,
I don't
so-
know if that's on the
Mhm.
meetings, but he'll go through his committee appointments at that point.
Okay.
Yep.
So we're gonna lose one for sure.
So-
Two,
What,
well,
but
one,
now and Sue, we're losing
Yeah.
two, so it's you and me, guess what?
So, he'll typically come and,
He'll ask you. if
he'll
you have
ask me if
somebody,
you have
yeah.
anybody as far as
Maybe you should ask
assistant
Jamie
replacement
Johnson.
roles, or if anybody's, expressed interest.
Oh, she's
in it,
not in town.
And then we'll move forward. Who's are you talking about?
Jamie Johnson, she's not in town, she's on the side by the tavern, and you
She's
can't
just
write your
outside
further,
this-
it's
yeah,
a couple
she's-
days.
Yeah, she's on the
Yeah, she's in
opposite
town,
side
or
of Dorn
whatever,
Ave.
but
She would be a
anyway.
good one though, she's,
Yeah, well, somebody would just complain of where she
Good
lives, so it's not worth it.
so, yep.
So, anyway,
Yeah, so
now can
those-
we adjourn then?
Motion
Do we have anything
adjourned.
else, because we're done? Okay. Motion by Diane, seconded by Kim, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good luck to you guys.
Thank you, Sue.
thank you for everything, Sue,
You're
thank you
welcome.
for,
Yeah, it
was answering my
was
questions
many
and,
years of doing this until I got sour. So, sour's not fun, it's no longer fun.
well,
Everybody's
Tell you the
trying
truth,
to just be
this
good
girl
to you
ain't
all the
quite
time.
getting into any fundraising.
No,
I'm done with that.
yep, that's what I said, and it, you know, everybody thinks it's funny, but it's not funny, because when you have nobody that